Live from Granada Studios in Manchester, it's Granada UpFront. Tonight, after Camilla Gate, is Charles fit to be king? And are women fit for the noble art? Women boxers are up front. Please welcome your presenters, Lucy Meacock and Anthony Wilson.
A very good evening and a big welcome to a brand new series of UpFront.
Yes, tonight the monarchy in crisis after publication of the Camilla Gate tapes. Can Prince Charles ever be crowned?
And could boxing for women ever be a hit? The women who take part in the noble art are up front.
But first tonight, the new year doesn't seem to have brought any better luck so far for the royal family.
Not at all. Publication of those extremely intimate taped telephone conversation between the Prince of Wales and Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles has called into question Charles's future as king.
We'd like to hear from you at home. If you think Charles is fit to be king, please ring us now on 0891 700 101. There you go. That's if you think he should. If you think that he isn't fit to reign, then please ring 0891 700 102.
The latest royal crisis, of course, began with the publication in Australia of transcripts of the Prince's explicit late-night phone call with Camilla Parker Bowles. Within hours, it had been faxed all round the world. The pair were exposed as allegedly having a long-term affair. This included secret trysts at the homes of friends. After visiting Shetland last weekend, the Prince called a summit meeting of family and friends at Sandringham to discuss his future as heir to the throne.
So who here tonight thinks that Prince Charles should still become king? That it doesn't matter? Yes?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because the things that we've heard about, there's no fact in it at all. We're not sure about it, and he's done many marvellous things for many years. He serves as our ambassador on many occasions, cool and collected at all times. That's important.
Right, so you're a great supporter. Yes, anyone else think that Charles should still become king?
I think before he does any more damage to himself and the monarchy, I think he ought to come clean as freely as possible and, you know, at an extremely personal level. I'm surprised he hasn't done it already, particularly with the Camilla Gate scandal. By his intransigence, he's not denied it, he's not admitted it, but by sort of distancing himself from it, we're led to believe that there is a lot of truth in it.
If he never says anything about it at all, should he still become king?
And that's very difficult. I think if he was frank about it, I think he'd pull himself out the mire very quickly.
OK, anyone else who thinks that he should become king still? There's a hand up here, I think.
Not really. I was just thinking, him without sin should cast the first stone.
Does that mean that Prince Charles should become king?
I think so.
You do?
Yes.
All right, let's hear from some people who don't think that he should. Yes?
Definitely not. He's supposed to be a defender of the faith, isn't he? Protestant faith. Well, who could respect him now? And as for having no proof, when you look at Diane, the way she looks at him, that's proof enough.
What does her look say?
Well, it looks like she hates him.
But just because
she looks at him with disdain. In all the papers and all you see, side looks, you can tell.
But just
that
because she
done
doesn't
something.
like him, that's not a good reason.
But why
to
doesn't she?
He doesn't seem
It's all come out now why she doesn't, hasn't it?
Sorry, what was that?
He doesn't seem interested in her either.
Well, there you go. So
No, well, he wouldn't, would he, when he's got Camilla?
Right, we'll get on to all that. Anyone else think that he shouldn't become king? Yes?
Yeah, I think he's lost his credibility. I mean, the fact that he hasn't defended himself. I mean, if somebody made an attack on me, I'd defend myself.
Well, they're always a bit above this, though. They very rarely make
Well, why should he?
comments.
I mean, it's so serious. He should defend himself. And if it's untrue, then come out.
All right, let's just take one more. You wanted to come in?
Yeah, I think we should spend money on better things, like finding homes for the homeless and helping unemployed people.
I be right in thinking, though, that you had that view before the Camilla Gate tape
Yeah,
was
but I think
published?
what the Camilla Gate has shown is that they've tried to manipulate the press and now it's backfired on them. You know, we had a day off for the royal wedding. We all could stay at home and watch it on the telly. They like that sort of publicity, but not when it runs against them. I think they've got what they deserve.
All right, well, let me bring in Nigel Blundell, who's one of the many authors of royal books, written one recently. Do you, in your opinion, feel that Charles will become king one day?
I wish I could say yes, but I believe not. Charles is probably the most caring, the best prepared, best educated heir to the throne that this country's had this century. But because he hasn't been able to control his own actions and the activities of his family, his immediate family, I think he's lost the game.
So whose fault is it?
In part, it must be Charles's. He strayed to another lady. He's had an affair with someone else. In part, it must be Diana's. It might be an unpopular thing to say, but Princess Diana has been made out to be something between Mother Teresa and Madonna. She is neither. She's been a particularly manipulative lady, and she has been as unfaithful as has her husband.
But Charles had everything going for him, didn't he? He had a wife who was very popular. He had two lovely sons, a lot going for him. So where did he go wrong?
Well, he was obviously thought of it by his young wife as far too cold a fish for her. She's obviously a rather passionate lady. You can tell that from the tape recordings of her conversations.
These are the squidgy tapes,
the so-called Diana Gate tapes, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he was a cold fish. She was a passionate lady. She began to dislike him. I mean, the fact of the matter, as we've revealed in Fall of the House of Windsor, is that Charles had a love affair with Camilla, who later became Camilla Parker Bowles. He, upon his marriage, gave up Camilla for a good 5 years, and after 5 years went back to her.
In that transcript of that tape, he didn't sound like a cold fish when he was talking to Camilla, did he?
Must have eyed Diana somewhat, yeah. He showed to Camilla a passion that he'd never shown to his own wife.
Which really annoyed her. That's what you were saying, that was the problem. Well, let me bring in Giles Brandreth, MP for Chester. I wonder, in your view, do you think that Charles is ever going to be king, or has this all destroyed that?
No, I don't think it's destroyed that at all. I must say I'm very grateful that none of us have ever had any of our private telephone conversations listened into by other people and reproduced in newspapers, because I think all of us probably have said things in our time that we might regret. I think the monarchy is a marvellous institution that served this country very well for hundreds of years. The defender of the faith was mentioned, and of course King Henry VIII, who was the founder of the Church of England, I think broke every one of the 10 Commandments.
Because he didn't get his own way.
Well, yes, and he was wrong to break each one of the 10 Commandments, but the Church of England has survived, and indeed the monarchy has survived. I'm sure it will. I think, too, of course, that we're talking about something that may not happen, I hope doesn't happen, for a quarter of a century. The Queen, who I think everybody regards as having not put a foot wrong in 40 years, I'm looking forward to her Diamond Jubilee in 20 years' time, so that we're talking about something that may not happen for many years.
But I wonder, I mean, I think most people would probably agree that she's been a very good queen, but I wonder if you feel that she was a good mother, that her children seem to have had a lot of trouble establishing lasting relationships with their partners, don't they?
A lot of people in our societies sadly do that. And one of the curious things about this is that in all the gossip and the pleasure, and I mean, I'm as prurient as anybody else, wants to see what's being said, enjoys the gossip. We've got to remember we're talking about real people and real lives. And sadly, we live in a country where there are many broken marriages. And it would be wonderful if the royal family had been able to set us an example of marriages that do work. But certainly in terms of their public work, there's no question that Prince Charles has delivered the goods in full measure, and the alternative to him would be alarming. I think we had him in Chester earlier this year for the 900th anniversary of the cathedral, and the streets were lined. Now, if you had a president, I don't know who it might be, I mean, you'd be a delightful president, but it's more likely to be somebody like Esther Ransom.
But the
I don't know that the streets would be as full.
The Princess of Wales, though, has done a lot of good work for charity. She's made many, many public appearances as well. So on that basis, she should become queen.
She, I think, constitutionally, I believe she could still become queen. But
And do you think she should?
I don't know. It won't happen for 20, 25 years. We don't know what will happen, whether the separation will end in divorce. It's actually it's a sad matter. Constitutionally, I hope the monarchy continues, and I hope it continues with the successor to the present Queen.
Are they supposed to remain celibate for 25 years, both Charles and Diana?
I don't know that it's really a nice thing to speculate about other people's private lives. I really don't. I don't know that it's healthy. It's inevitable that we do it. But I don't know that it's actually worth speculating about. They deliver the goods in terms of their public duties, both the Prince and the Princess of Wales. And in the constituency I come from, Chester, where they have a close association, our hospital is named the Countess of Chester after the Princess of Wales. There's nobody there who's ever seen them on parade doing their stuff who doesn't think these people are fantastic. And what we're gossiping about now is material that has been obtained by scurrilous means, private conversations that we shouldn't be hearing, and we're now all gossiping about it.
All right, well, talking about the Princess of Wales, though, I'd like to bring in Margaret Holder, who wrote a book called Diana's Diary, and I know that you're a great...
I researched it for Andrew Morton.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, right, associated
Yes.
with Andrew Morton.
Yes.
So very much in Diana's camp.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So what do you think about this idea that she is largely to blame for the problems of the royal family at the moment?
She isn't. I mean, she had to bring out to the public her personal misery because she'd reached a point where she knew she was completely trapped, and the only way out was to get it out into the public. And she knew Morton was writing another book. In fact, he never intended to write that book. He was writing a health and beauty guide. And she was told by her friends, it's true, it's absolutely true. And her friends told her what he was doing, and she allowed it all to be fed to him. As he said, it was drip-fed, bit by bit by bit. I think the bulimia thing came first, and I think the Camilla Parker Bowles bit came much later.
How much, I mean, talking about Charles's character, though, and how much perhaps he did to save that marriage, I mean, how fit do you think he is to be a future king?
He's unfit, in my view. I think much depends on when the Queen dies, sadly. If she died tomorrow, I think he would take the throne, and I think it would be a short-term proposition. I think he'd be Edward VIII revisited. There'd be a political rouse. He's intensely political. I think people forget this, that he really is a political activist, and I think that next time he stands up and tries to make a speech and tries to lecture people on how they should behave, he might get one or two hecklers, you never know. They might remind him of one or two things in that Camilla Gate tape that people have been reading here tonight and say, who is this man to tell us how to behave?
How many people have actually read the text of those tapes here tonight? What did you think about them? Gentlemen at the back.
It was completely ridiculous. First of all, I don't actually believe that's a true transcription, but I have very little faith in the media reporting anyway. But even if those were the true words, how can I use them to give a view on somebody else's feelings and somebody else's opinions? This is a private conversation. I will read them, of course I will. They arrived in my fax machine 2 hours after they were published. Yes, I'll read through them, but they're not important.
What didn't you believe?
I'm not really quite sure. I didn't scan through the whole thing twice, and the phraseology reminded me of this sort of 12, 13-year-old children, the way words are used. Maybe it's like our in public schools, I don't know. But the way words were used, the way phrases were used, had that mark of a ridiculous journalist having earned their money by making things up.
But you felt uncomfortable because you thought that it might possibly have been a conversation, a private conversation between two people. You felt uncomfortable about reading it?
Yes, it wasn't part of my world. I couldn't resist reading it. But certainly wasn't part of my
All right, anyone else read that? And anyone surprised by some of the material in it? Yes?
You really can't take these things out of context. You've been in parties where you've been sober, other people have been not sober. They thought they were as funny as hell, you think they're daft, because you're not in the same context.
So if you have a few drinks and you have a...
No, I'm saying if in context that sounds okay, we all speak our minds in our own special way. The question of the monarchy is more important than these silly little things that we're talking about now.
All right, any other views on that tape? Yes.
Everybody expresses their feelings of love to each other in different senses and different ways. That's Prince Charles's way of showing his expressions for me, Camilla, sorry, who wants to be a tampax in that sense and show his expressions how much he loves her. That's fair enough to him. Everybody's done it in the lifestyle once when they fall in love first time, and they have different ways of doing it. That's his own version of it.
Was there anything else about the tape that surprised anybody? Yes?
It was obvious from the tape that people, that they'd known each other a long time. It wasn't a first-time conversation. That conversation had been going on many times before. Possibly there might be other tapes which might come to surface.
Well,
now,
if we're to believe the newspapers, I think there are 27 more of them.
True. Well, I mean, the gentleman that spoke, he said the relationship, he had a relationship with her before he married Di. From that tape, it wouldn't surprise me if the relationship had carried on right through the marriage.
But do you think it's right that that private conversation between two people was recorded?
I think it's totally wrong, but because it had been recorded and it was there, I think it was right for it to be published. I don't agree with the methods they've used, and same with the long
telephoto lenses.
Telephoto lenses as well.
Yeah.
It's invasion of privacy. But because it had been done, I think it was right for it to be published, because before we were all blaming Diana for the breakup of the marriage and her leaving him, and it threw a new light on it that this happened 3 years ago, and quite possibly that was some of the pressure on it.
Okay, Nigel, who do you think recorded that conversation?
Either MI5 or Special Branch. It's certainly the Diana Gate tape was, or tapes, because there was certainly more than one tape, were not the result of an amateur radio ham picking up those conversations alone.
Why do you say that?
Well, in Fall of the House of Windsor, it reveals how we had the tapes analysed in the United States on the most sophisticated equipment that can be found, how we spoke to MI5 experts, FBI experts, and uniformly they all said that a very sophisticated editing and bugging device had been used to assemble the tapes. They're like a jigsaw.
If that were true, that would be the real scandal. If you actually had MI5 or the security services spying on our own royal family, that indeed would be a scandal worthy of exposure. I think what interests me about the gentleman who spoke in the front row was that he was condoning the publication of the tapes, but he wouldn't have condoned somebody breaking and entering into our private house, stealing letters and publishing those, and yet this amounts to the same thing.
What do you think about the people who publish that sort of material?
I think they're wrong to publish it. I think it is frankly acquiring material that has been obtained by deceit. The people did not know they were being recorded. It is like going into their home and stealing their correspondence and publishing it. It is private material.
All right, well, Nigel Blundell, you mentioned your book before, as people who write these books do when they come on this programme, and it publishes virtually in full the Diana Gate tapes. I mean, how do you justify publishing a private conversation between two people like that?
The tapes, the transcript of the tapes, both Diana Gate and Camilla Gate, have been published around the world. They presumably...
But how do you personally justify it? You put it in your book.
So that anybody in this country who wants to read it can.
Oh, let's be candid.
Why?
To sell the book.
Yes.
Well, it is a full story of the royal marriage breakup. If you did not mention the Diana Gate tapes, you would not have the full story of the breakup of Charles and Diana. The British public would not be informed. They don't have to read it if they don't want to. They don't have to buy my book. They don't have to buy popular newspapers.
How do you suppose they felt, though, when they read the transcripts of their private conversations? What do you think that did to them?
Certainly in the case of the Diana tapes, both Charles and Diana already knew the full transcripts of those conversations.
Well, of course, because they were involved in the conversations, if we're to believe that they're tapes of the real thing.
Charles had also been told what was in those conversations.
Well, I wonder if I can just stop you there, because I'd like you to listen to a recording that we made earlier today. Tell me, what would you have been doing if you hadn't been on Up Front tonight?
What night is it? Friday night? I've been in the Coach and Horses in Barnes High Street.
With who?
Probably with the local plumber. No.
Why, is he doing some work for you at the moment?
No, it's just the most regular of the regulars. Yeah.
Now, okay, it's not very steamy stuff. But
What did you expect?
That is a conversation that we had earlier on today. It's so easy to do. I mean, forget MI5 and everything. With the technology that's around, it's so easy to do.
I'm able to reveal who the local plumber is. You wondered about Lindy Sinclair. In fact, tonight, Nigel Blundell, this is your dark secret.
Thank you.
Don't you think that is a bit of an invasion of your privacy?
Not in the least. You've published that just as someone published the Diana Gate tapes over the airwaves.
But had we known each other a lot better and that conversation been a lot more intimate, It could have proved very embarrassing for you.
We're talking about you and I.
I'm talking about you. Because you think nothing of publishing that material about someone else. And
No,
yes, it's true that you're not the future
A great deal of
king.
thought went into whether that material should be published or not. A great deal of thought went into it when a national newspaper first published it.
And
Indeed,
a great deal of money went into it when it was done. Well done, you.
2 years, Giles. 2 years that tape. 2 years that tape rested. It was not published for 2 years.
Absolutely. No, we have to acknowledge that there is an element of commercial exploitation. I'm getting very nervous because, Lucy, all that I said to you was meant in fun. I just want you to know that. Entirely meant in fun. Now, there is a distinction here, which I think can be justified in the sense that we're talking, Nigel is distinguished, but he is not going to be the King of England unless we get really desperate. And when we're talking about the monarchy, it is a different matter. But I think it's totally wrong to tape secretly people's private telephone conversations. And I think telephoto lenses, taking photographs of people at a half-a-mile distance when they don't know they're being photographed, is wrong, and we need, I think, to adjust the law to make that illegal. It's the same as breaking and entering.
All right, it's a very simple technique as well, especially with so much new technology about. But let me bring in our constitutional expert. We brought one in specially for the programme tonight, and I want to know whether you think, constitutionally, it's okay for Charles to become king.
Well, Charles is the heir to the throne, and as long as he doesn't drop dead, when the Queen passes on, he will become king. It's an electorate of one, and he's the only one who can vote by abdicating or not standing or blowing his brains out.
And does it matter what he does?
Look, all of this is irrelevant, what we've been talking about. We've been talking about whether or not it's a nice marriage, or who's to blame for the marriage, or who's been nasty, or whether or not Charles used the word tit over the phone. That's utterly irrelevant to whether or not he is suited to be king. The question, this is not an elective monarchy. We're not in Poland. The only question is he the eldest legitimate child of the Queen? And the answer to that is yes. And his behavior, it's not part of the law that he be happy, that he be engaged in a happy marriage, that he be a nice guy.
Okay, and what about Diana? I mean, basically you're saying Charles could do anything and he would still become king,
No,
whether we wanted
I don't
or
think
not.
he could commit treason. I don't think he could commit a crime for which he would be prosecuted in the courts and that type of thing. But having private conversations with ladies over phones and using slightly risque language is not yet against the law in this country, and it's not a capital crime. And certainly very few heads of major corporations have had to resign because of similar circumstances, and I hardly think they...
What about the idea of a Queen Camilla? I mean, is that a constitutional possibility?
Well, Diana is the queen in that she is the mother of a future king.
Right.
All being well. She is the mother to the heir. She will always be the queen mum. Now, whether or not she could be the queen consort, I mean, she's only queen by virtue of being married to him. When Charles comes to the throne, it's his head that will appear on the banknotes of England. It's his face which will appear on the coins of some country which is never named on the coins anymore. You don't know who the coins belong to. His head will appear on a stamp, just the head. There will be no mention of Diana whatsoever. She has no role to play in the Constitution.
Okay, but if there was a divorce, and if Prince Charles then became king and wanted, I mean, for example, I mean, possibly it might not be Camilla, but if, say, he wanted to take onto the throne a woman who had been married, that hasn't happened before, has it?
Well, we live in a country where 1/3 of all marriages end up in divorce, and indeed most divorces end up in a second marriage. One might say the monarchy is getting closer to the people.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you want to come in, yes?
I think it's thoroughly ridiculous that we're expected to form an opinion on the monarchy on the basis of this marital infidelity. Charles is hardly the first member of the monarchy to have played away from home. The fact is that we should be forming our opinion on whether the monarchy should remain or not on the basis of our opinions on privilege and the hereditary principle, and not upon smut like this.
Well, I feel that as Giles does, that we in this country have enjoyed a constitutional monarchy for almost 400 years now. It has been proven and worked perfectly adequately and successfully, and I think that it's a ridiculous idea that we should contemplate getting rid of the monarchy. It works. Get rid of it by all means if you have something infinitely better to replace it.
Well, the best that Giles Brandreth could come up with was Esther Ranson, I think. Anyway, look, we've got the latest on our phone vote.
The phone poll, so far 7,000 calls. 42% of callers say Prince Charles is fit to be king. 68% say he's not, Lucy.
So that's a pretty close vote. Are you surprised by that, Giles Brandreth?
It's a close vote. I think he's not fit to be king. But then maybe my maths is better than yours. Well, I mean, it's an interesting straw poll, but the case, it's not relevant now because it's not going to happen for a quarter of a century. I certainly think that he is fit to be king and he does his public duties in an exemplary way. And I think this is, the sad domestic situation is really one that we're gossiping about because of the way it's come to the fore. It's really none of our business.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'm sorry, but there we have to leave it.
We have to leave it indeed for the moment. We'll give you some more news on our phone poll a little later. Now, before the break, you've probably heard over the last few days about the mysterious disappearance at Beachy Head of one Lindy Sinclair, or Miss Whiplash, who featured in our last series and was here to discuss the rights and wrongs of kiss and sell.
Well, news this afternoon is that she's turned up safe and sound in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. There had been fears for her safety, as she told us, kiss and tell doesn't always pay.
Indeed, and on our programme she warned against the dangers of naming names.
She's done a very dangerous thing to name names. Nothing happened good to Norma Levy when she brought down Lord Lambton. Christine Keeler spent 10 years in
Lindy,
poverty. No, let me finish. And Janie Jones disappeared. All the girls that name names, nasty things happened to them. And
Which one was the whale? Now, coming up after the break, should women have the right to box competitively?
It would come in handy sometimes. Don't go away. I believe you said that. Welcome back. In a moment, should women be allowed to put on their gloves and step into the ring to box competitively?
But before that, please welcome a woman who clearly has gone a few rounds in her time, but she is with us tonight, Mrs. Merton.
Hello, I'm Mrs. Merton, and I've had a bulging mailbag this week all about Prince Charles. So Jill writes, "Dear Mrs. Merton, I could not believe my eyes when I read the recorded phone conversation between Prince Charles and Mrs. Camilla Gate. Our future king was talking about sanitary ware as if he was a gynecologist. I personally blame Princess Diana for leaving these things lying around for men to examine. Sanitary ware is a lady's business, and there's only one place for them. In the bathroom cabinet, locked away from the prying eyes of royalty. There are certain things men shouldn't know about. When I was fortunate enough to have a hysterectomy last year, I told my husband Roy I was having a simple heart bypass operation. And I've kept it from him until this very day." And that's from Jill Appleby, 15 St John's Close, Levenshulme. Now, another letter on the subject. "Dear Mrs. Merton, Prince Charles has always been full of fun and a prankster, always falling off his horse for the camera during polo matches, and always wearing those ears from the joke shop. I think that this taped conversation with Camilla was just another prank from the funster, purely for a bit of light-hearted publicity." And that's from Leslie Bell, Ward 4B of a local psychiatric home. Now, on a different subject, Tamsin writes, "Dear Mrs. Merton, I'm a keen feminist, and in brackets, I never shave my legs, and I sleep on a futon. And I cannot see why, in this day of supposed equality, women are not allowed to be boxers. Now, I know some women, you know, they are big and strong and hairy, obviously, going by Tamsin. It's not fair to have them in the boxing ring competing against the likes of Chris Eubank, is it? That's cruelty. Something there for you to think about. And finally, Diane Conlon writes, my husband Andy recently, is that an I or a no? Shot himself after a bad pint of bitter. He's never done this before in 20 years of marriage. Oh, Mrs. Merton, what can I do? Please help me. That's quite a devastating letter there, but something for beer drinkers to think about. And I think that's a nice way to finish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Merton. Thank you very much. Knockout, knockout indeed. And I think, as Mrs. Merton was suggesting, we're now going to turn to one of the few remaining male bastions, boxing. Despite million-dollar purses and the attention of huge audiences, men have kept it a male preserve. Is it time for change? Change that Angela and Jane here may show us. This is the way it looks, is it, ladies? Your boxers, please take a seat. All right? Now, there's some men in the audience. Is this a joke to you? Yeah. Seem a bit funny? Yeah, yeah?
I'll show you later how much...
I'll show you later. Yes, thank you. All right, are there any women fighters here? Right, a few women boxers. Any women who think they'd like to do some fighting? No, madam, no. All right, let me tell you something. You think it's a joke for men. For women who want to do this, who believe this is their own sport, the fact that they're prohibited from doing it professionally and having any organising body, it's not a joke. Let's show you what Jane and Angela look like when they're doing the business.
There's nothing illegal about women boxing, they just aren't allowed to do it competitively. There are more than 500 registered professional boxers in Britain, all male. Women can participate competitively in other sports, judo, kickboxing, rugby and football. Why not in the so-called noble art? Roughly 100 years ago, the Queensberry Rules came into operation to regulate the sport. 100 years later, it's still very much a man's match.
On the ropes there, on the ropes. May I introduce Susan Atkins. Susan, you've been boxing for 12 years?
Yes, just about 12 years.
Can I get one thing out of the way? It's a curiosity factor, but it's in my mind. I'm sure it's in the viewer's mind. Women have breasts. Hunches,
so, yeah.
Well, it's like it's... my mother told me, and I believe it was true, you know, I take these things. Do you protect them? Does it hurt? It's, you know, all the questions. Just answer me those questions.
Well, the only thing I can say is you're not going to knock anyone out with a punch to the breast. And if someone's boxing properly, you take an on-guard position, your breasts aren't an obvious target, you're going for the point of the chin, the heart, the solar plexus.
Yeah, but if you're going for the heart, I'm not, you know, well, fine, Susan, you're going for the heart, it just seems...
A breast is just a load of fatty tissue. It just doesn't hurt that much when it gets hit. It's not a... If you show a breast a boxing glove, it's not going to get cancer, let me assure you of that.
Well, we'll come round to the medical side of it. It's just the pure... It's
but
not
that's
uncomfortable.
What everybody
it's
thinks.
not uncomfortable.
No.
It's what everybody thinks. It's not...
It does not hurt. Take it from Sue, take it from us. We do it, it does not hurt.
Do you wear protective things at all?
No, because it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt?
But we can do if we want to.
We can if we want. Obviously, some women are quite big. Maybe they want to.
Yes, and I'll go on.
I've got a chest protector, but I never wear it because I never get hit in the chest. I've never once been hit hard in the chest.
Yeah, nor have I.
And that's why I don't wear it.
It doesn't hurt.
You haven't. You've been hit on the chest. It doesn't hurt. Okay, fine. All right. Have we got rid of that for the moment, folks? We'll get round to the medical side, but at least it's... I think it solved something for me. Okay, Susan, thank you on that one. How on earth did you get into it? What made you start boxing?
I've always loved it as a sport to watch, and I don't think that you can appreciate something to watch it without doing it yourself. It's good to watch because it's obviously the rawest sport. It's one-on-one. You've got no bats or balls or anything to kind of help you beat the other guy or the other girl, whichever be the case. So it's got a long history behind it. It's the ultimate sport, really, as far as I can see.
You want to be there and do it because you actually love it as a sport. Now, the Boxing Board of Control, they refused to even discuss the matter. They told us they wouldn't come here on UpFront. They won't come. Sorry, it is a non-starter. We're not even going to talk about it. They are not now or ever going to register any of you or be involved. What do you say to them?
Well, they have gone on television and spoken about it. They've gone on Channel 4 and spoken about it. They think it's pretty similar to kangaroos boxing. They think people will watch it out of curiosity. I mean, that's their view, so obviously...
Well, now they're saying they won't even dignify it with a response. OK, they think it's like kangaroos. May I introduce Phil Martin, who comes from the extremely, he's the manager at the very hot, high-profile Champs Camp, the training centre in Marseille. You've got, what, 3 British champions at the moment?
That's right,
All
they're over there.
We're going to see some of them in a moment. You love boxing?
Yeah.
And I suppose you love women boxing?
No. No, I don't.
You don't?
No.
She just told you she loves the sport.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not saying that women shouldn't be allowed to box if they want to box, but from my point of view, a woman, there's lots of beautiful women in the audience here. I think a woman should be loved, should be cherished, she should be looked after. You know? Yeah, I mean, I might be old-fashioned.
You might be a sexist.
I might be a sexist.
Are you
Right?
sexist?
No, I don't think so. No. If they want to box, let them box. You know, but let them form. You know, don't go to the British Boxing Board of Control and say you must adopt. You know, have women boxers. You must license them. If it's so popular, and I don't think there is enough women in this room that want to take part in boxing to form an association, then let them form their own association, let them form their own amateur association or professional association.
You'd let them in your gym?
I'd let them in the gym to train, if I had the room, yeah, I'd let them in the gym to train, but, you know, as far as them boxing...
yeah, but would you make the room?
Would I make the room?
Yeah,
if I could. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of trying to negotiate some extra space where we are at the moment.
If you get some space, you can talk to him about it.
You can come down and we'll try it out.
But they wouldn't compete. You wouldn't let them compete, Phil. No.
Well, I don't know. I think it'd be a novelty. I mean, you were saying before...
Susan, you're a novelty to it.
No.
Would you object to your fighters fighting on the same show as women fighters?
Well, look, I've got a show on the 26th. You were talking before about women... they don't wear these protectors or something. They're gonna have the same rules as men. In other words, they're going to wear shorts and gloves and boots. Well, you can...
Stand up, Angela. What do you wear?
Well, you can... Oh, well, that's amateur boxing, isn't it? I'm talking about professional boxing,
okay.
Yeah.
What's the difference, apart from the rounds?
Well, the men don't wear vests. So if you want to come on our show, I'm sure you'd pack it out.
All right, Angela, to what extent is there a voyeuristic element in this? I mean, do people want to watch women box?
Yes,
And if they do, is it for boxing or is it because of the kinky cabaret?
No, I've had a few fights. I've said this before. When I fight, the people who are in the audience, they see, you know, we take this very seriously, we train, we move like boxers. And when I go around afterwards, they actually say, you know, we really enjoy the fight. The crowd love the women fights. We get a good, big applause. They're good technical fights. The crowd do appreciate us as fighters, not as, you know, busty women or whatever you want to see us as.
I think, right, what do you want to go on?
Even though I'm for women boxing, I think you lied to you, because looking at you on TV there, you didn't have the moves then.
Can I just say something? That was the sparring, it was not a fight.
I've watched fights.
That was just for...
I'm all for you boxing, but
just for the cameras.
so you must have lied to you. It doesn't come across real enough.
Okay.
Pardon?
But it's also finding the people who are going to train you. I've only just found a trainer, just a year. I have to go out to London once a week. Yeah. It's finding people who take you seriously to train you, and that's a hard thing. I've been thrown out of amateur boxing clubs. I went all around Brighton to all the amateur clubs. This was before I found out women are not allowed in them. And they were saying, oh, no, you can't come here. In the end, I had to pay a man in Brighton to teach me to train. I had to pay him.
But surely, I mean, if there's enough women that are interested in boxing, you shouldn't have any trouble or problem finding other women to train and spar with or gyms to use. If there's so many women that want to take part in it, the gyms...
Phil's saying get on with it. Why are you moaning?
I'm not moaning. I did something about it. I went to London. I found this gym up here. But what I'm saying, there aren't many facilities for women, you know, like professional coaches, etc.
But they've all got your attitude, Phil, that women should be cherished and looked at.
Besides, I want to be a manager.
I think it's wonderful, but then women should have the choice to do it as they please.
Can I bring someone else in here? We've got a great fellow, gentleman here, John Conte, one of our great boxers, British, European, Commonwealth, World Champ, a lot. It's a man's game. You hear what Phil's saying, what the boys are saying. Why are you sitting next to Susan on the woman's side of the argument, John?
Well, I've seen them fight. And,
tell him then. Tell that young lad there what they're like.
This Angela here, when I've seen this, just the sparring session, she is better than half of the boxers on the undercards I've watched.
I mean, next thing, they'll be watching a fight guys, won't they?
What? Not your category, not your level.
Right,
John, wait a minute, cool out. John, professional opinion, these ladies can actually, and it actually is a serious sport then?
Absolutely. I've watched Angela in particular. She's such a tough, fit fighter. She's got all the moves there, the cunning, the killer instinct, everything, you know, and if I was involved in boxing as a manager myself, I'd certainly be right behind her.
Fantastic. Do you think people will go and watch women boxing?
Yeah, definitely. I think they would be. If you've seen these girls, the way they train, how fit they are, and how gifted, you know, they're gifted boxers. That's the way I'd look at it. I think it's just a conditioned thought that we think, oh, well, they shouldn't be there.
Well, surely no one's actually stopping them boxing. No,
your attitude, Phil.
Well, you see, I have an opinion. I don't believe that the women I don't think the interest is there. I don't think women should subject themselves, right, to tremendous amount of punishment that can happen, yeah, by professionally.
You subject yourself to it.
There's people. They don't force us in the ring, do they?
It's a free country.
It's a free.
And if people want to take part in a dangerous sport, whatever it is, there are safety things that can occur for all sorts of sport. You don't stop bungee jumping and fast water rafting and things like that.
I'm not
if ladies want to box,
you're right.
Legislate for it, make it safe for them. They have a right. It's a free country. It's democratic.
Okay, in a moment, I want you to hear what the doctor said, then come back to the same again. But first of all, you haven't got the hands up here.
Just let me say something. Now, as a professional boxer myself, I know what it's like in the ring. Yeah. Now, I can see what Phil Martin's saying. If they want to form their own organisation, let them do that. Yeah. But the British Boxing Board of Control, I know for a fact, they've got their own problems.
Exactly.
Yeah, just keeping the sport alive today. Yeah, and to start involving women in the same game, yeah, it will cause more corruption. If they want to do it, let them do it. There are people out there that are trying to kill the sport. Yeah, I know what it's like while you're in the sport.
It's very, very hard to make
hard. It is hard. And you've got people that will, put on little shows like this one here. Yeah. At the end of the day, if they want to do it, let them do it in their own little field.
Phil's exactly right.
Yeah?
What he's saying. If you want to box yourselves, make up your own organisation.
I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to box. If they want to box.
Yeah,
but you can't.
Susan, explain what you want.
We're not asking them to help us. We're not saying let us be a part of your organisation. What we're saying is don't try and put things in our way. For example, if a guy has got an APA coaching licence, right?
Yeah.
And he's got a girl that he's helping train, and he goes to her, and he's in her corner at a fight that she's in. He's running a very high risk of losing his ABA licence. Now, that's wrong.
Well, you may say that is wrong, but I mean, I can turn around and say to you, look, I hold a professional licence. I've got a huge, a big amateur team. I can't go in the corner with kids that I've had from 10, 12 years of age, and the boxing, I can't go in the corner with them because of the ABA rules. That are the rules. Yeah, those are the rules,
but that's because...
So I get an amateur coach.
Those rules are holding back this woman's sport.
We're not saying it. We want to be part of your sport.
What I'm saying is, if there's enough interest, if there's enough interest from women that want to box, yeah, you would have trainers, you would have
They're not allowed to train. Can I bring a trainer in about Tex? I've got a trainer in here who does train women. Tell us, Tex.
I think Phil's well behind the times. He doesn't realise how women have evolved. A few years ago, if you'd have said there's going to be a women's rugby association, you would have laughed. But no,
I don't think so.
Okay, but
ask him whether he's been in the ring before.
No.
Tex, he's a trainer.
Have you ever been knocked out?
Have you ever been knocked out, Tex?
Thank you very much.
You have?
I haven't been knocked out.
That's because you're a good boxer.
I've seen quite a few pro fights, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. The thing is, if the ladies want to do it, they're entitled to do it.
Of course.
Now, I would never, ever recommend anybody to take up boxing, male or female. But if they do, then they should come to somebody like me who can teach them the correct way to do it and eliminate as much damage as possible.
I'm sorry, but there is a question. I'm sorry now, we're talking intellectually about all this now, but there is a medical element. I'd like to bring in Dr. Geoffrey Cundy from the BMA. He's the boxing spokesman for the British Medical Association. You're very against this.
Yeah,
for more than just the feelings, what have the BMA got against women's boxing?
Well, we've got things against all boxing. We think if you hit the head, you damage the brain, and you can kill people. And we think the sport is too dangerous to continue. But as far as women's boxing is concerned, you have to realise that the woman has a lighter facial skeleton, so she's more likely to get injuries to her nose, orbit, cheek, jaw. She'll have a thinner skull, so she's more likely to get greater damage to her brain. And it's only a matter of time, if these ladies keep on boxing, it's only a matter of time before one of them suffers severe brain damage.
All right, can I put that to two of the girls? We're not getting into the general boxing debate here. It's the woman's side of it and the fact that... Yes?
I mean, you say that about the brain, but what about bungee jumping? I mean, if you make one mistake there, then your brain, that's it, isn't it? So
well, bungee jumping, actually bungee jumping is illegal in most places.
We're not debating bungee jumping now or next week or ever. Let's get back to the women who want to box. I've got two women boxers here. The doctor there is telling you that your face, you have different bones than these boys have in their bones, right? Because you're women. Doesn't that worry you a little bit that you might get hurt doing this?
Well, personally, I think that women aren't necessarily as strong as men. I'm not saying all women, and so I think maybe they might not get hurt as much as a heavyweight boxer, a male boxer. And also, I think there's a lot of dangerous sports, so why shouldn't... We've got the choice to... We can vote, we can play rugby, we can play football. Those are dangerous sports. I mean, gone is the days of women can't do things. We should have the right to choose. Not every woman's going to get in the ring and box. Yeah, we should have the right just to choose.
All right. Me personally, I like to wake up to somebody in the morning with the nose on the right side of the face. But you should be allowed to box, but please, take it from me. Organise your own thing. Little thing. Because I tell you, the boxing game is very, very hard. It's very, very hard.
It doesn't. You don't know.
Don't go to the boxing board of control.
Let Elaine reply to you.
No,
it's a good point. Let Elaine reply to you.
Then you get hurt at all.
Gentlemen, let Elaine reply.
Punches. It's obvious. What he's saying when the doctor.
Yeah, but someone's going to be throwing lighter punches at us.
Before I stop talking about us stopping boxing.
You see. Hold on a second now. All right, you two. Talk about it afterwards. We're getting going here. Quick comment, Phil.
I was saying, you see men that have, that have taken part in boxing and have got broken noses. Barry McGuigan for one. I ain't seen too many women, take part in boxing walking around with broken noses that look very attractive. I think that's,
we're getting to the second. Can I put a second?
Yes, and she's unmarked. Look at Sue. I mean, you've never been that she could be a model, never mind a boxer.
Well, I'm not saying she,
and she's been in very hard fights.
Yeah.
And,
I'm not saying women shouldn't box. What I'm saying is, if they want to box, form your own association and get on with it.
But the fact that you disapprove. Can I just read something? We talked about the ABA as well. Dr. Peter Wren of the ABA says, I'm not going to appear, he told us, because I consider the subject again a non-starter. I am old-fashioned enough, he said to us, to accord women a high regard and respect. For women to take part in boxing is abhorrent to me. From time immemorial, the male has taken upon himself the role of warrior who provides, protects and fights for his mate. Right, no, wait, give the man a chance. A woman is not physically built, nor does she have the mental aptitude to take part in a sport whose object is to land legal blows with force on their opponent's head and chest. I will do everything in my power to stop it happening. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but when he says you don't have the mental aptitude, I heard you all go, oof, but do you really have the aggression? The correct aggression for this sport, which is about one-on-one aggression. Come on, ladies.
The answer is yes.
They do.
I've watched them in the ring.
Definitely.
One of the ladies who trains my gym, a very middle-class or upper-class lady, when she is sparring, her eyes actually blaze. She is really in with that fight. Yes, they do have
I'm sorry, it's just that for the last...
They do have the aggression.
For the second half of the 20th century, women have been telling us that you men, you are violent and you're different. So you're saying that they're just the same in the ring.
Some may be even worse.
Some may be even worse. Go on, well, come on, go on. Say it out loud. Say it out loud.
It's like all the blokes say. It's like when you go home at night, and you might come in late from a late night. I'll go home tonight. If I come in late and my girlfriend Dawn's still awake, I might have someone waiting for me. She's got the aggression. Women have got the aggression.
All right. So we'll wrap back to the ABA saying, sorry, they do have the mental aptitude. All right. Okay. Audience, you've been listening to this for a while. Come on, very patiently. Come on, sir.
If a woman wants to box, then she should be allowed to box. They know what the dangers are. And hold on. I accept the medical advice that they're at greater risk, but surely the reason that there is a board of control is to control the risk to the boxer. Surely it's better for them to be in the ABA or whatever, so they're active, so that the association can act to minimise the risk to the boxers.
Would the BMA, sir, Dr. Cundy, would the BMA recommend to the Board of Control to get involved in women's boxing, to control the risk?
Not at all. And a 15-year-old schoolboy was killed in the ring. And he's got the physique of these ladies. It's too dangerous.
They're going to do it anyway. All right, some more people. You said in the middle, yes, sir.
Yes, I mean, of course there's a very minor risk, but there's probably far greater risk in driving from a home on the roads to the gym than there is in the actual sport itself, and we don't ban driving, do we? And if people are aware of what's going on...
How about the possibility of a woman fighting and being pregnant? Are they prepared to take a pregnancy test?
Oh, we've had this one. The womb is based at the back here, and it's very difficult. It'd have to be like a 10-ton track going through the stomach. The women are well protected.
Dr. Cundy is saying
that would be a very odd punch.
It would have to be. Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, so we're not worried about you can fight when you're pregnant. I believe you can fight when you're pregnant now.
Listen, I mean,
following up on
you can't say that.
No, any responsible. Sure.
You're seriously saying to me that it's okay for women to box in the bedroom?
No. I'm saying any responsible woman. I think his point here is perhaps if she didn't realise she's pregnant. Yes. If she didn't realise she's pregnant, she would have missed her period for 3 months. She'd have to be a pretty sort of stupid woman.
But would she be disqualified because it was 2 against 1?
Thank you very much, John. All right, some more in the audience. At the back of there, you, sir.
As long as women box under the right rules and regulations, what's wrong with that?
Look, well, you think there's nothing wrong with it. You don't think... So you're not worried if your girlfriend comes home with a broken nose? Or are you?
She does regularly.
You are, right? Sorry, yes, please.
I've been in the numerous times. I haven't really got hurt that much, you know, sure, I might get a bit winded. The point is, I haven't come out, you know, sort of busted up. You're more likely to have an accident falling off a horse. It's always that risk. There's a chance, and it doesn't often happen, as in any sport.
All right, come on, one of our Manchester champions, come on.
Yeah, like to ask the doctor, really, you know, how would it affect, you know, a woman if she was pregnant? How would it affect her in the long run? You know,
well, the doctor thinks it affects you badly. The doctor thinks your boxing affects you.
No. I'm talking about women. I'm just talking about the women with fragile bones, like what you're talking about in the face.
It occurs to me that the two sexes, the only people with something really bad to get hit are us. Right? And you wear something to protect it, don't you?
There are risks with most sports.
There are risks with most sports, right.
I would be happy on the health side if they wore the head guards.
If they wore head guards?
Yeah.
Head guards.
Now, we're talking about amateur boxing.
Dr. Cundy will tell you very quickly, sir.
The problem is, with a head guard, the whole head swivels round and the brain is damaged more than a straight punch without a head guard.
So I've
got about 45 seconds left. They're going off it now, technically. Quick, sir, quick comment.
What is the extent these women will go to do boxing? Are they going to box between themselves, or in the future are they going to ask to compete against the males?
No, it's going to be on equal terms.
Hang on, equal terms, yes. Well, last year, in '92, we had Martin Navarrete. She had a match against Jimmy Connors.
Yes, you're right, it happens in tennis.
There could be happening in boxing.
Can I ask, how many people here would perhaps go and see a women's boxing match? Oh, the women football players and rugby players, you go, and this lot would go. Susan, last question. Will anything stop you boxing?
No.
No. You're going boxing until you're too old to do it.
Yeah.
Mr. Conti, you get the Joke of the Night award. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, everybody. All right.
Quickly, before we go, the final results in our poll on whether Prince Charles is fit to be king. I'll get my maths right this time. 44% only of our callers tonight think that he should still be king. That's of 8,000 calls that we had. 56% say that he's not fit to reign.
I think he's a sweetie pie. That's it from us. We're back next week. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you very much.